I want you to summon a memory, a specific moment of absolute, terrifying, total immersion. Perhaps you were deep in the throes of a cinematic masterpiece, a film so gripping that the walls of your room dissolved, time collapsed, and 2 hours evaporated like water on a hot stone. Or perhaps it was a moment of physical intensity. You were running. Your lungs were burning. Your feet striking the pavement in a hypnotic rhythm. There was the wind. There was the heat. There was the sensation of speed. Now, I want you to ask yourself a dangerous question. In that precise microsecond of total absorption, where were you? I do not mean your physical body. The biology was obviously present, pumping blood and firing neurons. I mean the you that you think you are. The commentator. The constant, nagging voice in the head that usually stands apart from life and judges it. The one who says, I am doing this, or I am enjoying this, or I hope I look good doing this. Where did that entity go? If you possess the courage to look back with radical honesty, you will discover something that defies all our ordinary logic. In those moments of peak aliveness, the observer was not there. There was seeing, but no seer. There was running, but no runner. There was laughter, but no one claiming ownership of the joy. There was just life exploding into existence, pure and direct, without a manager standing behind the curtain. You were not unconscious. You were not asleep. In fact, you were more awake, more vibrant, and more real than you are in your normal state of consciousness. But then, the moment ends, the mind re-engages, and suddenly, the I reappears like a ghoul returning to a haunted house. Memory kicks in and rewrites the history of what just happened. It says, I enjoyed that. I was happy. But this is a lie. The I was not there during the happiness. The I only arrived afterwards to claim the credit. This crack in our reality opens the door to the most profound realization in over 2,000 years of Buddhist psychology. We go through our entire existence convinced that there is a pilot inside the machine, a homunculus behind the eyes, a permanent observer watching the screens of our senses. But what if the observer is a hallucination? What if, in the most profound moments of your life, no one is home? For 26 centuries, the masters of the Vajra path and the silent sages of the forest have pointed to this terrifying and liberating truth. They did not treat this as philosophy. They treated it as an emergency exit from suffering. Today, we are going to dismantle the G in the machine. We are going to hunt for the observer. And when we fail to find him, we might just find freedom. To understand how this grand illusion is performed, we must slow down the film reel of our own consciousness. We must look at the machinery of perception with the precision of a diamond cutter. Right now, you are listening to this voice. It feels incredibly simple. I am listening to a voice. Subject I. Verbatim listening. Object voice. This is the grammatical structure of our language, and unfortunately, we have mistaken grammar for reality. We believe the world is made of nouns, things, and people interacting with each other. But the Buddha, with an investigative power that rivals modern neuroscience, saw something completely different. He did not see nouns. He saw verbs. He saw processes. He saw a chain reaction occurring at lightning speed. In the ancient texts, specifically the 6 Sutta, the Buddha breaks down the anatomy of a moment. Let us look at what actually happens when you see a red apple. First, There is the eye, the physical organ, the sensitive matter. Second, there is the object, the pattern of light and color we call apple. Third, and this is crucial, there is the spark of I consciousness. It is not that you see the apple. It is that when the I and the form collide, consciousness strikes like a spark from flint and steel. This is called contact. From this contact, a vibration ripples through the system. Feeling it happens instantly, before you can think about it. The redness of the apple might be pleasant, or perhaps it is rotting and it is unpleasant. This feeling tone pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral is automatic. It is just biology reacting to physics. Notice closely up to this point, there is no I, there is no observer. There is just a biological sequence I, form, spark, contact, feeling. It is a river of causes and conditions flowing downhill. But then, the tragedy begins. This is the moment described in the Honeyball Sutta, one of the most psychologically precise maps of human delusion ever drawn. The Buddha explains that after feeling arises, the mind engages its distortion engine. Perception kicks in, it labels the experience apple, red, food. Then, thinking erupts, I like apples. This looks like the ones my grandmother used to buy. I am hungry. And then, the mind spills over into what is called papanka conceptual proliferation. The spinning of stories. The weaving of narratives. And somewhere in this chaotic, lightning, fast chain somewhere between the raw feeling and the complex story, the mind performs a magic trick. It constructs a subject. It creates a center of gravity. It splits the seamless flow of experience into two warring camps, me and the world. It constructs an observer. You can watch this happen in real time if you are sharp enough. There is a microsecond where raw hearing happens. And then a second moment where the mind claims it. I hear this. This is happening to me. The Buddha identified the architects of this construction project. Their names are craving and clinging. Because the feeling was pleasant, we crave it to continue. Because it was unpleasant, we crave it to stop. And to manage this craving, we need a manager. We need a self to hold on to the pleasure and push away the pain. We cling to the experience, and in the act of clinging, we solidify the idea of the clinger. This is mine. This is me. This is myself. We stamp our watermark of ownership onto a river that belongs to no one. And in that act of stamping, the observer is born. So, the observer is not a pre-existing entity waiting in the lobby of your heart. It is a mirage that appears only when the heat of craving meets the sand of perception. But the mind is cunning. The ego is a master of disguise. When you challenge it, when you try to look for it, it hides behind the very act of looking. This leads us to the great paradox that has driven meditators to the brink of madness and back. You might say, okay, I understand that my thoughts are constructed. I understand my emotions are constructed. But surely the awareness that knows the thoughts, that must be the real me. That must be the soul. That must be the eternal witness. This is the ultimate hiding place of the ego. When we strip away the body and the mind, we retreat into the fortress of pure awareness, and we say, I am the watcher. But the Buddha was a relentless surgeon. He did not stop at the skin or the thoughts. He cut all the way through to consciousness itself. He asked, is this knowing a permanent thing? Or is it also a process? Let's perform an experiment right now. Turn your attention inward. Try to find the one who knows. Try to look at the looker. What do you find? Maybe you feel a pressure behind the eyes. Maybe you have a mental image of a bright light. Maybe you hear a subtle thought saying, I am here. But look closer. That pressure behind the eyes, that is a sensation. It is an object being observed. It is not the observer. That mental image of light, that is a thought. It is an object being observed. It is not the observer. That voice saying, I am here, that is in the mind. It is an object. Every time you turn around to catch the self, you only find more things. You find more scenery. You never find the camera. It is like an eye trying to see itself. The eye can see the world. It can see its reflection in a mirror, but it can never, ever turn around and look at its own optic nerve. The subject can never become the object. Some spiritual traditions stopped here. They found this ungrasped awareness and they deified it. They called it the Atman, the true self, the cosmic witness. They said, I am not the body, I am the eternal soul. But the Buddha saw further. He saw that even this witness is dependent on conditions. In the Mahātmya Sutta, a monk named Sati fell into this trap. He believed that consciousness was a transmigrating soul that moved from life to life unchanging, like a passenger moving from one bus to another. The Buddha rebuked him with thunderous clarity. He said, have I not stated in many ways that consciousness is dependently arisen? Without conditions, there is no arising of consciousness. What does this mean? It means that knowing is not a steady light beam. It is a series of sparks. Eye consciousness arises and vanishes. Ear consciousness arises and vanishes. Mind consciousness arises and vanishes. It happens so fast, billions of times a second, that it creates the illusion of a solid line. Like a torch spun in a circle creates a ring of fire. There is no ring. There is only the moving torch. There is no stream of consciousness. There are only drops of consciousness, flowing so fast they look like a stream. This is a terrifying dissolution. If there is no observer, if consciousness itself is flickering and impermanent, then who are we? This question is so sensitive that, when the Buddha was asked directly, he sometimes chose the most powerful answer of all silence. In the Anatta Sutta, a wanderer named Vacchagotta approached the Buddha. He was a seeker, burning with the desire for a metaphysical answer. He asked Master Gautama, is there a self? The Buddha sat in silence. The jungle insects hummed. The wind blew. The Buddha said nothing. Vacchagotta, confused, asked the opposite then, is there no self? Again, silence. Vacchagotta left bewildered. Later, Anatta, the Buddha's attendant, asked the reason for this refusal to answer. The Buddha's explanation reveals the razor's edge of the middle way. He said, if I had said there is a self, I would have sided with the eternalists, those who cling to the idea of a permanent soul, which prevents liberation because it creates attachment. But if I had said there is no self, I would have sided with the annihilationists, those who believe death is the end, that nothing matters, leading to despair and nihilism. Both views are traps. Both views are concepts. The Buddha did not teach no self as a philosophy to be debated in universities. He taught it as a strategy. He taught Anatta, not self. It is not a doctrine saying you do not exist. It is a tool. It is a wrench used to loosen the bolts of suffering. The instruction is not to believe I have no self. The instruction is to look at everything you think is you, your body, your feelings, your memories, your awareness and realize it. This is not me. This is not mine. This is not myself. Why? Because everything you point to is changing. And if it is changing, it cannot be the permanent refuge you are looking for. You cannot build a house on flowing water. So, if we cannot grasp the self, and we cannot grasp no self, what do? How do we live? The answer lies in one of the most potent, concentrated, and lethal teachings the Buddha ever gave. It was delivered to a man named Bahiya. Bahiya of the bark cloth was not an ordinary man. He was a spiritual extremist. He lived as an ascetic, wearing rough bark, emaciated, fueled by a burning desire for truth. He was so intense that people began to worship him. They treated him as an arhat, an enlightened being. And the tragedy is, Bahiya began to believe his own press. He built the ultimate observer, the spiritual ego. I am the Holy One. I am the Awakened One. But deep down, the doubt gnawed at him. A deity, perhaps his own conscience manifesting, shattered his delusion, telling him he was not even on the path. Panic set in. Bahiya ran. He ran through the night, covering massive distance to find the Buddha. He found the Awakened One walking on his alms round in the city of Savatthi. Bahiya collapsed at his feet in the dirt of the street.
Teach me!
He cried. The Buddha refused. It is not the right time, Bahiya. We are collecting alms.
Bahiya insisted. Life is uncertain. I could die. You could die.
Teach me now. The Buddha looked at this man. He saw the desperation. He saw that the shell of the ego had been cracked by the fear of death. The vessel was ready. Standing there in the bustling street, amidst the noise of the market, the Buddha delivered the Vajrayana teaching that destroys the observer in a single stroke. He said, "Then, Bahiya, you should train yourself thus. In the seen, there will be just the seen. In the heard, just the heard. In the sensed, just the sensed. In the cognized, just the cognized. When for you, in the seen there is just the seen, you will not be by that. When you are not by that, you will not be in that. When you are not in that, you will be neither here, nor there, nor in between. This, just this, is the end of suffering." Upon hearing these words, Bahiya fell silent, and in that silence he was fully liberated. Moments later, he was killed by a runaway cow. He died a free man. What did he hear? What was the code that unlocked his chains? In the seen, just the seen. The Buddha was pointing to the raw data of experience before the observer is constructed. Right now, look at the room around you. Colors, shapes, light. That is the seen. But instantly, your mind adds a layer. I am seeing the room. The Buddha is saying stop at the first layer. Strip away the I, strip away the am. Strip away the objectification. Just seeing, just hearing. When there is just seeing, there is no one standing back to judge it. There is no distance between the subject and the object. There is only the luminous display of reality, shining forth, empty of a self, but full of life. You will not be by that. This means you will not define yourself by what you experience. You are not the anger. You are not the joy. You will not be in that. This means you will not locate a self inside the experience. When the observer collapses, the separation between you and the universe collapses. There is no here and no there. There is just the flow. Now, I can feel your hesitation. I can hear the thoughts arising. This is beautiful, but I am not Bahiya. I cannot just hear a sentence and become enlightened. I still feel like me. The G keeps coming back. If you feel this, you are honest. And honesty is the prerequisite for freedom. The truth is, for most of us, the dissolution observer is not a lightning strike. It is a sunrise. It happens gradually. Even in the time of the Buddha, the monks struggled with this. In the Khemaka Sutta, a venerable monk named Khemaka, who was very advanced, confessed a secret to his brothers. He said, "Friends, I do not regard the body as self. I do not regard feelings as self, and yet, deep inside, there is still a subtle aroma, a lingering scent of I am that I cannot scrub away." He gave a beautiful analogy. He said it is like a lotus flower. You cannot say the scent belongs to the petals. You cannot say the scent belongs to the stem. You cannot say the scent belongs to the pollen. The scent belongs to the flower. In the same way, Khemaka could not find the self in any specific part of his mind, yet the scent of the self remained. This is where we must be compassionate with ourselves. The illusion of the observer is deep. It is wired into our biology. It is the survival mechanism of the organism. Khemaka explained that this scent only disappears through the patient, relentless application of sunlight, by seeing, again and again, the arising and passing of things, by watching the observer build itself and watching it fall apart. We do not force the flower to lose its scent. We let it fade in the light of awareness. So, how do we practice this? How do we walk the path of Bahiya in a modern world of distractions and egos? We turn life into a laboratory. Experiment the backward step. When you are angry, stop. Usually, the thought is, I am angry. The observer has claimed the emotion. Shift your view. Look for the I. Is the anger I? No, it's a heat in the chest. Is the thought he insulted me the I? No, that's just a sentence in the mind. Where is the one who is angry? If you look directly at the anger, without the story, you will find only energy, vibration, heat. In the sensed, just the sensed. The anger loses its personal sting. It becomes just weather passing through the sky. Experiment tutor the gap. When you are walking or washing dishes or listening to, try to catch the moment before the label. Hear the birds singing. For a split second, there is just no bird, no listener, just the event of hearing. Rest in that gap. Extend that gap. That gap is not empty. It is full of intelligence. It is life knowing itself without the need for you to supervise it. The ultimate realization of the Buddhist path is not that you become a super observer. It is not that you become a detached, holy witness floating above the world. It is much more intimate than that. It is the realization that there never was a separation to begin with. The observer was a wall we built to protect ourselves from the intensity of life. We wanted to be safe. We wanted to be in control. So we split reality in two, the manager and the managed. But this wall is also a prison. It cuts us off from the intimacy of the wind, the rawness of the pain, the ecstasy of the love. It keeps us trapped in our heads, commenting on life instead of living it. When the observer dissolves, we do not die. The I dies, yes. The story of me becomes less important. But what remains? Just this. The breath, the light, the of these words. Conditions arising, conditions passing. A magnificent, self-luminous display of energy that requires no owner. You do not need to find yourself. You need to lose the one who is looking. In the scene, just the scene. In the herd, just the herd. In the living, just the life. No inside, no outsider, no waiting. Just this moment, perfect and complete, exactly as it is.